With the new look, new features, and more power under the hood, the new Zappiti lineup should be on your short list for media players, and we're going to check it out right after the jump. And I am back. First things first, I do want to thank all my patrons on Patreon. Thank you guys so much. You totally rock for directly impacting the channel and helping me make cool content like this. Now, if you want to help out the channel directly, make sure you click the link down in the description and become a patron today. Also, we need to thank the good folks at Zappiti for sending the Zappiti reference over for this review. So thank you guys over there as well. Now, let's get this Zappiti unboxed and then go over the new features, what I liked, what I didn't like, and I'll have some pro tips toward the end as well. Let's get it. The newly designed Zappiti players start at $900 and go up to $3,000. This model is the Zappiti reference, and it falls in the middle of their lineup, coming in at $1,500. Now, if you want any availability or pricing on Zappiti products, make sure you contact me or the team at Dream Media. In the accessories box, we get a lot of power cables for different parts of the world. I'll be using the US power cable. There's also a high-speed HDMI cable, rack ears with screws, remote control, IR extender, 2 Wi-Fi antennas and 1 Bluetooth antenna, and of course, the Zappiti reference itself. The new look has a large screen on the left and 2 hard drive bays stacked on the right behind the front door. I use 16 terabyte Seagate Iron Wolf drives in my Zappiti, and they are super easy to install. Just open the door, slide it in, and close the door behind it. Isn't that something you say to your friends or family that you don't like? Just boop, boop, close the door behind you. On the far left, we have the power button, and below a USB port. And on the far right, there's another USB port. Around the back, we have analog stereo outputs with balanced XLR and unbalanced RCA for 2-channel music listening, which will utilize the internal ESS Sabre ES9038Q2M DAC. Next to the XLR outputs, there is a composite AV output, along with digital coaxial audio output and digital optical output. The Zappiti reference model has 2 HDMI outputs, one for video and audio, and another for audio only. Next, we have an HDMI input, IR extender, gigabit Ethernet, USB 2.0, USB-C, and USB 3.1. Now, if you want to attach a USB 3.0 drive to the Zappiti instead of using the internal drive bays, I would highly recommend using the USB 3.1 jack on the back. On the far right, we have the power port, and along the top, you're going to find 3 antenna connections. 2 on either side for Wi-Fi, and 1 in the middle for Bluetooth. I really like the size of this LED screen on the front. When the Zappiti is off or not playing content, it will display the time. However, when you are playing content, you will see a now playing bar with elapsed time, total time, and the file path. I've stacked the Zappiti up with the Revon X200, and they look right at home together with the same kind of look. All right, let's talk about the new features of this generation's Zappiti lineup. First of all, we have the new Aurora skin. It is really nice looking and a definite upgrade from the previous generation players. And if you didn't know what those looked like, I'll have a link to an older video down in the description. I was told it's a free skin when you leave a review on Zappiti's website, so make sure you do that if you want to get this new skin. The second, and more important in my opinion, is the support for Dolby Vision and HDR10+. Now, I don't have an HDR10+ TV to test that out with, but I can tell you right now, Dolby Vision totally works. I tested Dolby Vision with BDMV folders, ISO files, and MKV files with Dolby Vision. Here's my favorite demo from the Dolby Vision demo disc, which I have on my drive as an ISO file. For those that don't know, ISO means you're taking a full disc image into one file, and this keeps the Blu-ray menu intact along with things like Dolby Vision or HDR10+ if that disc has HDR10+. Let's start the BDMV folder for the movie Bumblebee. And we can see Dolby Vision alert on the TV And when we press info in the Zappiti, we see Dolby Vision as well. And here's the Matrix reloaded in MKV with Dolby Vision, which I just re-ripped using DVD Fab. We can see Dolby Vision when we press info on the Pioneer AVR, and if we press info on the Zappiti, we see Dolby Vision there as well, along with the TV alert that happened earlier. Oh yeah, big shout out to Alex at KL Media for also being able to verify with me that he was getting Dolby Vision with BDMV folders, ISO files, and MKV files as well. So thank you for that, Alex. And if you want to check out his video, I'll put a link down in the description. He has a great section on how to control the Zappiti with the Zappiti app on a tablet. So if you like to run your lighting or your sound or all your home theater stuff with the tablet, you can run the Zappiti with the tablet too. Check out that link, it's down in the description. Also, I had to figure out how to rip MKV files with Dolby Vision with DVD Fab, because Make MKV just was not playing nicely with me. It worked here and there. It was like, 50% of the time, it worked all the time. It was one of those things. It was just very, very aggravating because I was just wasting a whole bunch of time. So I went through a bunch of forums and posts and found out the right way to set up the ripping for MKV files with Dolby Vision in DVD Fab. So if you guys want a tutorial about that, let me know in the comments below. On to the next feature, which I know a lot of people are excited about, and that is the moving backgrounds. Now this requires the installation of the beta version of the movie app. Big thanks to Giles for his video on how to install the beta. It helped me out a lot. If you guys need to check that out, I'll link that down in the description as well. As soon as I installed the beta, the Zappiti app notified me there was another update for the beta, so I updated the beta as well. According to Zappiti, they have about 150 movies that are compatible with moving backgrounds, and they are going to add more as time goes on. I just happen to have a few in my collection, which you should have already been seeing. And yeah, they kind of look pretty cool. I like this. This is nice. I like it. Now, feature number 3 is really going to help out those that have dedicated spaces with a scope screen. That is a 2.35:1 ratio home theater screen, and now they have like a full-on output for 2.35:1 when you're in all the menus and then when you're selecting a movie, so you don't have to like reshape or mask or do whatever you need to do. Zoom in, zoom out. I'm not sure all that lingo. But yeah, you can change it from 16:9 to 2.35:1. So let me show you where to go to do that. You'll need to go into the Zappiti movie app and then press the menu button, the 3-line button. Then move left to collection and then down to settings. Press down to move to the setup icon and then cursor right and then down to where it says video wall. So in that section, press enter. We now have 2 options for 2 lines, 2.35:1, and 3 lines, 2.35:1. Let's select 3 lines and exit out of settings. You'll see the Zappiti make changes and update, and then you'll see black bars on the top and bottom of my TV because now we're in 2.35:1. So if we scroll down and go to the movie section, we can see 3 rows in the 2.35:1 aspect ratio. So if you have a scope screen, the Zappiti has you covered, as you won't have to change or mask to 16:9 aspect ratio while in the menus, and then like change back when you go back into a movie. Okay, so those are the new features. Of course, we're not talking about the physical features of the unit, but those are the new features in Zappiti that are still in beta, I believe, but will be released to regular users soon. Oh yeah, one more thing. I have a couple of Zappitis. I have the older Zappiti 4K HDR where my hard drive is living, and I have the new Zappiti reference upstairs. And I also use the Zappiti video app on my desktop, so I can do all the file maintenance and cataloging and, you know, changing and rearranging, adding categories, all that kind of stuff. When I did the update on the Zappiti reference, because it updates my catalog that's online, now I had to actually update the Zappiti 4K HDR here, and I also updated the app on my MacBook Pro. Interestingly enough, now the older Zappiti and the MacBook Pro app both have the Aurora skin, so that's nice. And they both have moving backgrounds. So that was a nice addition as well to the older Zappiti. So for those of you with older Zappitis, if you get the beta, then you can also have the moving backgrounds and the new Aurora skin if you leave the review or something like that. All right, let's get into what I like about the Zappiti. And the main thing is cataloging is super easy. For the most part, it's super simple and most of the groups are done for you. So what does a group mean? If we look in John Wick right here, we have John Wick 2, John Wick 3, Parabellum. So all these are collected up automatically. Now, if you were using something like Plex, I've heard you've had to do all of this yourself. And this can get quite tedious if, like, you were like me and you had, like, the Fast and Furious collection, the 8 Harry Potter movies, all that kind of stuff. The Zappiti actually collects them all for you. Now, of course, you can go in and make some, which I have done as well. But this saves so much time, and it's super simple. And editing the collection on the laptop, like on the go, somewhere else, I can do it upstairs on the couch. I've done it at work plenty of times. It is super easy. So that is what I really like about the Zappiti. It's the ease of use. Now, I bought this collection of Stanley Kubrick Blu-rays, and it's called the Stanley Kubrick Visionary Filmmaker Collection. It's got like all his classic movies: Lolita, 2001 Space Odyssey, Clockwork Orange, The Shining, Full Metal Jacket, just to name a few. So when I got all the movies into the Zappiti, I just went online and found this picture and then created a group for all the films to live in one section. So it's kind of like that box set. Now you can do this with everything. Like in my last video, I found like a Christopher Nolan movie like box set picture online. And so, I threw in all the Batmans, the Inception, and all Dunkirk, like all that, into a group that was just Christopher Nolan movies. So, I have like also a Quentin Tarantino box set, which I think is all still Blu-ray, but whatever. I can put all of those into one group as well. So that's super handy and it's very easy. Now in the main screen here in the Movies app, you'll notice I've added a few different categories at the bottom. Now these custom categories are just some things I need to get to my content faster, because it's all about organization for me. So when I'm reviewing different products like TVs, AVRs, speakers, and all that, I can have the movies right where I want them, the ones I really need. So as you can see on the left, I have one where all my demo discs live. This is going to be your IMAX Enhanced, Dolby Atmos, DTS:X, Oro 3D. All of these demo discs live here. I did have to make a custom picture in like Photoshop, but that's super easy. You can make a picture, just make sure it's .jpg as opposed to .jpeg, right? So just take the E out of JPEG and the Zappiti will be able to use that photo. Otherwise it won't. Oh, and by the way, I'm not going to get into fully how to edit everything because I've done that in a previous video. So I'll link to that previous video. It's pretty long and I don't want to make this video super long because it's probably already going to be pretty long. Anyway, check out that video if you want to know how to edit and add categories and all that kind of stuff, because that's what I did here. I also have a section for audio demos, which I use to review equipment. Of course, I still have to add more movies to this category, but you get the idea. There's a video demo section for all the 4K discs that look really good. Most of them are shot in 4K with the 4K DI. Some are not, but basically when I need to check out picture quality on a TV, I'm going to be running through here. And of course, I still need to add some more. I even set up a category for Oro 3D movies and music so I can quickly toss one of those on when I need to. I still have a lot more Oro 3D movies to rip, so this category will grow in the coming weeks. And again, the best part is doing this all on my laptop, whether I'm here at the house or somewhere else. I had a little downtime at work the other night while preparing up for this video, so I went and made a few of these groups. I also went and changed a few pictures. Pretty easy. And then you can find the pictures. Not a big deal. All right, let's get into what I don't like. And I know a lot of people will talk about these because this is probably what you're concerned about. Since I run my hard drive here in the studio, everything is hardwired. There's literally a wire up there. Can you see it? It's right above the heart thing. Maybe I'll try to highlight it. Anyway, that is actually going upstairs. And so the Zappitis are on the network, okay? That is one thing you need to do. You need to have the Zappitis on the network if you're going to share it. And I have this set up as a share drive. So if I have more Zappitis around the house, they can all read it. The hard drive being here and me accessing all the films via the network upstairs, like the time it takes to load some of the metadata, some of the pictures, maybe the music or whatever, that kind of like has a hiccup now and then. You know, sometimes it's quick, sometimes it's not. Now, when I was changing the aspect ratios from, 4 lines 16:9 to 3 lines 2.35 to 1, it struggled getting the 2.35 to 1 up. But once it was up and once your pages were loaded, you could go up and down, and it's kind of like it was like there. It was there, it was loaded, it was good. But that first initial one, yeah, it's a little slow. So I know they went ahead and added a few things like faster processors in the new one. But yeah, that part is still a little clunky. Now, the second thing that bothers me about the Zappiti, and I know Alex in his video talked about it too, and that was drive noise. Like if I'm watching a movie upstairs and I come down here to where the hard drive is and there's nothing going on, I can hear it reading the drive. Now, I can only imagine how annoying that could be in a quiet movie when I'm trying to watch, the movie, which I did experience with the older Zappiti, and the newer Zappiti does also have that. It could just be that I have a loud drive, but the one way I'm avoiding that whole situation upstairs is by having the drive down here in the other Zappiti. So if you have a network attached storage device already in a different room than your movie theater or your living room or whatever, that's probably going to be a good idea. Like, that's what I would recommend because it annoys the crap out of me. That reading drive thing in a quiet scene, and there are actually a lot of quiet scenes in movies, so you'd be surprised how annoying that is. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I hate it. That's one of the things I really don't like about it. And to, kind of circumvent that whole situation, I have the hard drive down here instead of upstairs. And also, it's probably a good thing. I know I was talking with Croson, Mr. Paul, about it. And one of the things he was saying was that he doesn't want any kind of spinning hard drive somewhere close to subwoofers that are just vibrating and shaking the room. So that's also another thing to think about. Maybe you should have your spinning hard drives in a different room than your movie theater. I don't know. Think about it. All right, let's get into some quick tips. So if you're in the home screen, this new Aurora skin, make sure you go over to the wrench icon, the setup icon, and then go into audio, then go into digital audio output mode, and make sure this is changed from auto to original, and in parentheses it says Bitstream. Okay, I was freaking out because I wasn't getting Dolby Atmos, and even though this was set to auto and I was playing Dolby Atmos, M2TS files, MKV files, even ISO files, and I was like, why am I not getting Dolby Atmos? So I went into audio here and it showed that it was set to auto. Once I changed it to Bitstream, no problem. Now the next tip is importing TV shows into the Zappiti, and that is actually dumping all your movie files into a TV shows folder and then pointing the Zappiti to pull movies or TV shows, from that folder. Now, if you have like show name S01 season 1, E01 episode 1, if you have it in that type of, file name, you should be good to go. However, if you have like the disk that's an ISO that you ripped, like I have the whole file structure for Planet Earth 2. Now, when I put it in the TV show folder and it tries to read it, it's not that great in actually separating out the episodes from the ISO file. or BDMV folder, whichever one you used. Either or will keep the menu of the Blu-ray. So I was just like, oh, you know what? Nah, screw this. So I moved it back over to the movies 4K folder that I have. And then, I get a Planet Earth 2 and a Planet Earth 2 because there's 2 discs. Made a quick group, found some pictures online, slapped them in there, done. You just go in, click it, and it'll bring up the menu, and you can go into whichever episode you want. So if you have the discs and you want to rip your disc, whether they're, standard DVDs or Blu-rays, I would recommend just ripping the ISO file and just tossing it in movies. And you can go in and then just change like the category if you like. Type the category like my shows instead of TV shows. And then you can just have all your TV shows, in that one category, and it'll pull them all up. So that's a quick tip for you guys, because I was on a phone call with someone from Zappiti and he showed me how to do it, and it was a little bit convoluted. And I think this is just an easier way of doing so. And the new Zappiti reference and the new Zappiti generation of players is actually doing a lot better with ISO files and BDMV folders than the older generation. So that's also nice. Okay, so hopefully this video wasn't too long and I gave you guys a whole lot of stuff to think about and learn about the new Zappiti generation of movie players. Again, I will probably at some point in the next couple of months try to get a Zappiti Neo for the master bedroom. Once I get the master bedroom connected up to the home network. And this is an old house, so yeah, that's not going to be easy. But hey, whatever. Anyway, I like it so much, I want to have the Zappiti in the master bedroom. I've got one here in the TV test rack. I've got the C2 LG OLED Evo on the way. So I will be using the Zappiti with that. And I think Sony will be sending the A80K pretty soon as well. And I would have to purchase the Samsung, QD OLED at some point, because I don't have a connection at Samsung that will send one over. But hey, whatever. I'll be using the Zappiti for all of my test patterns, all the movies, and all that kind of stuff. So it's really cool that I can have the Zappiti in multiple rooms of the house, or just access to all of my movie files all throughout the house. Cool stuff. Anyway, let me know if the Zappiti is for you, and if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.